reed field, mushrooms. We have a trout pond, a small one. We have access to salt, fertile soil, a medium abandoned cache, and a withered tree. So no luck with either the stone or the clay, which is a bit unfortunate. Let's see what other resources we have here. Do we have any stone or clay from the cache? No. I mean, it's okay. We can just open up another glade relatively soon anyway. Okay, and it seems like the seal itself is pointing towards the right side or the east side from this glade. Okay, reed will help us keep making more fabrics. Then the salt can be useful for some recipes. What about the Glade event itself? So I did not nail it in terms of my, well, prophecy. So we get the wither tree instead. What happens in around 13 minutes if we don't make this, that the blight rot feeds on the tree's valuable nutrients, making new cysts more resilient. Cysts burn for 5 seconds longer. Not a bad result or outcome. In order to solve it, we can either cut it down. So trees communicate with each other through their roots, making the forest aware of your every move. Spawn 1 blight rot cyst every 120 seconds for every 2 dangerous glades or forbidden glades discovered. This penalty is retroactive. So we haven't discovered many glades, which means this could be a relatively good option. But the other option that would give us some resolve is to make some purging fire, use some reed in our scenario, and then we can get access to 1 reputation point along with 20 amber. I would be clear that these bonuses from cutting it down are also quite nice, especially the 2 extra blanks production. But I think we'll go for the resolve anyway, just to mitigate. Plus amber is always nice to spend, for example, on either stone or clay, right? Okay, so in order to start working towards it, we would require the Blight Post, but for the Blight Post we need resources. And there is no way, I think, right now, how we could get... Well, actually, the reed fields give clay at certain rates. So my question would be... Okay, first of all, let's move the woodcutters a little bit closer to the south. Let them cut through the trees over here. Then the next thing we will do, we will accept actually these 3 villagers because we really need some extra workers. One of the harpies will go to deal with the reed field with the hopes of getting enough clay for the Blight Post. And the Blight Post we will need in order to make some, well, whatever it was called that's made inside here, right? These purging fires. We need like, let's limit it to 10 initially. But also just please make it out of wood only. No need to spend the more expensive fuel resources on this. Yeah, now like kind of the hope is that, okay, 1 more lizard will go for the roots right now. So we'll keep 2 builders for a little while. Maybe. Actually, 1 more lizard can go to the crude workstation. Because like, yeah, we can see that like the last shelter is going up, giving us access to, well, everybody will be housed after this shelter is built. Then we will have this park being created. But does the park take any... Okay, it just takes wood, which is perfectly fine. I was just wondering if the bricks would also be consumed by it. Then we have the druid's hut, which has its own resources that it needs. But basically, the druid's hut is something we will deactivate for the time being. Instead of that, we'll be prioritizing the Blight Post because it seems like this purging fire is needed for various scenarios in our settlement. Okay, so it seems like the reed fields just ran out, which means we will be pushing the harvester's camp a little bit to the south. And we have how many minutes left before we are going to be in a little bit of trouble, but not much. So given that we also will assign 2 workers for this Glade event, probably around, well, 12 minus 4, right? So it's less than 8 minutes remaining before we suffer the consequences, which are not that great, to be fair, or well, not that awful. Yeah, it looks like we'll be going towards the east side from this glade we just opened. We will keep building our roads. Oh, nice. It just went through everything without any blockages there. Let's choose some orders for a change. So we have the next choice between making connections and the population influx. So making connections is expecting us to reach standing level 1 with 3 settlements or trade routes. Not the easiest thing. But delivering 40 oil and 40 flour would give us extra 2 flour production along with 2 wildfire essence and 5 new arrivals. Oil we are already able to make. Flour is something we can pick a recipe up for right now. And the bonus is like the wildfire and the villagers and the flour production bonus. They're all kind of amazing, so yeah, let's pick this one. And the last one we can choose right now is, first of all, if we sacrifice oil, coal and wood, we get access to +1 resin production. Well, fuel consumption in Hearths is decreased by 25%, and also there's 20 copper bars in play. But Into the Unknown would expect us to open up 2 glades within an interval of 150 seconds, giving us 10 boxes of tools, 30 crates of tea, and some villagers. Now, it would be easy for us to sacrifice the wood and the oil. Not so sure about the coal. We only have 20, and so I think we should rather go for the Into the Unknown objective, because discovering 2 glades a little bit later we'll be doing it anyway, I think. So given that we just took the flour assignment, and we do see 1 building with flour right here, along with a better bricks recipe and also the copper bar recipe, then I think the obvious choice in our case, well, there's nothing obvious in this game, but the obvious choice that I'm thinking towards is the stamping mill. And let's pick it up. We also get to see what's the next choice on the table. So both the herb garden and the small farm are options. Given that we already have grain production, then roots and herbs would finish several recipes, be it food or just the provisions. Yeah, I think we'll go for the herb garden. Okay, so the trapper's camp is something we haven't considered yet. Do we have any big resources? No, we don't have yet. We have mushrooms, which require a herbalist camp. Yeah, seems like... Okay, and the last one is the lumber mill, but... Yes, planks will be produced with a very good recipe, but the scrolls and pack of trade good recipes are not that good. And we need to do something with our fertile soil. So let's go for herb garden. Seems like things are kind of adding up one by one. Okay, we can also place the herb garden right to this corner. And we can also mark down the farm fields. So by the time the next storm starts, we'll be ready to start farming. And if we do make anything here, then probably we prefer herbs. And yeah, herbs will give us a nice boost to start raiding with other settlements. Now, another thing we haven't placed yet is the trading post. It seems like this is a good place to put it, at least initially. We can always move it around for free, if anything. Okay, in terms of orders, once the trading post goes up, we will be able to complete the trading post assignment. Then the purging fire is waiting for some extra bricks. We're just missing 1 brick, so reed workers, please do your thing. Also, we picked up 1 more building that we haven't placed yet, which is the stamping mill. We want it to be near the warehouse as well. It's narrow, I know, but we want it to be right next to the warehouse, so we'll place it here. And it seems like the Blight Post will surprisingly be the, well, the stopper, kind of the bottleneck of our settlement for a little while. Even the herb garden is already going up. Just because we don't have access to a proper amount of clay. And 20% chance of getting clay out of these reed fields is not too bad. Just need to get lucky with a few. How many reed do we need for one brick? Or how many clay do we need for one brick? So it's 6 and we only have 1. So it will take some time. The moment we're at hostility level 1. One thing to keep in mind is we cannot lower the hostility by removing woodcutters here, so building that second hearth at some point will become crucial. Now when we take a look at the herb garden itself, we want it to be near the warehouse. It's relatively close to the main warehouse, but since we're also going to be building a hearth somewhere nearby, as... oh my... the mushrooms are in a really bad spot if you want to make it like in the same line as the other hearth. Yeah, we probably want to build it somewhere like here. Which means woodcutters kind of need to move themselves, take down these trees, because we want to build a small warehouse around here where the trees are that I just marked. Okay, reed workers. 1 clay is here. And there is... wait, didn't we just have 1 clay here? Maybe you guys... actually, there's already 4 clay here. Okay, so probably 1 was in the warehouse, but 4 of them were already brought here into the root workstation. So if we add these 2 in addition to what we have already, that will be brilliant, because we'll be able to finish up our Blight Post and do some very important milestones, or finish some very important milestones. Funny thing is we still don't have our 3rd species on the table, which makes the resolve management a little bit easier, to be fair. Not too bad. Now the next critical building is going up. And with this one, I hope the first settler will also visit us. Sorry, first trader will also visit us. Right after the trading post is completed. So maybe we can grab something useful from them. Gathering nodes near the small forager camp. That is our only food source for the time being. Doesn't look like we can use it anywhere else. So... no, please do not take down the trout pond. So the thing I'm looking at is that we only have like 104 food right now. The woodcutters are bringing in a nice amount of meat, at least, to provide some sort of food into our settlement. But the cookhouse would be lovely as well, because biscuits and porridge and skewers, of course. But yeah, do we have anything to trade away? So this 10 amber we could really use to just finish this trading post assignment, and I think we'll do it. We'll also lower the Queen's Impatience by 1, gain our first reputation point, giving us access to another recipe. Oh, you see what I see? So herbalist camp, something required for the large mushroom patches. Then we also have the choice of trapper's camp again, the plantation, and the leather worker. So given that we really need to somehow utilize these large mushroom nodes, most likely we will be going for the herbalist camp. This will mitigate our food issues and leave it a little bit later into the future. So those workers that were just doing their thing in the other camp before, Sorry, I need to move. I need you woodcutters to move away again. So yeah, what I was saying is we will place the herbalist camp somewhere around here. And the workers that... Oh, okay. So harpies really like to work here. Can we grab another harpy from somewhere? Where are you guys working? At... So harvester camp actually has 2 harpies. We will switch around one harpy with the lizard, and then the other harpy will go here. And we also had plans to put a small warehouse somewhere around here. Be nice to leave just maybe 1 square between these 2 buildings. This is already on top of the fertile ground. And if you put it here, then both sides of the small warehouse have 1 square between them. Yeah, it sounds like a good placement. Now this woodcutter will be able to start pushing stuff into this small warehouse. Less time needed for traveling. The trader, we still didn't buy anything. Okay, let's take a quick look again. So we have a bunch of sea marrow, but this sea marrow we might need in case we want to solve some glade events relatively quickly. Do we want anything from them? Tools would be nice, of course. Cookhouse would be nice. We just don't have the resources for it right now. So I'd say we'll take the next trader. Thank you for coming to our settlement and bringing some lovely things along, but we are not interested at the moment. I see we have some jerky that we will not be handing out just yet. The storm is approaching in less than a minute, so please leave the jerkies for that time. So level 1. Hostility is something that we will be facing. I'm not sure if we'll be getting -8 resolve then. If so, then the lizards are in a bit of a pickle. Because 8 is the amount of resolve they have. But we do have the skewers and the jerky that we can kind of bribe our lizards, and also the jerky goes to the harpies. Okay, the Blight Post is almost ready. Now, what was our plan is to just reduce the amount of lizards working here in the woodcutter's camp and have 1 lizard just working on the purging fire for the timing. Maybe even 2. Because we're not in trouble with wood and we're not in a rush to take it down either. So 2 lizards are making some of the goodies we need. This woodcutter's camp will be near the main warehouse. And let's see what happens with the resolve. So 9 and 9. Okay, 1-1. So ideally it would have to be stable. Let's see what the plague that hit us is. So villagers take 50% longer rests and have a 100% higher chance of consuming twice as much food during the break. So our food stockpile is not that bad. Hopefully it will make it okay. But we will allow the consumption of everything for just to make sure that we don't start starving. Although the villagers can take a few stacks of hunger before this starts happening. But they will also drop resolve if they get hungry. So we just don't want to mess around with it too much. Now, let's activate again this druid's hut. And also, something we haven't done yet is we have this herb garden here, right? So maybe we'll take a few more lizards away from the woodcutting business. Because it's really important for the season for the plots to be plowed, is the term, I believe. And yeah, so there's only 2 woodcutter lizards now. You can see there's a decent amount of meat, the storage of this specific woodcutter camp. And nothing in this one, so that's we left the lizards in the right camp in this scenario. Okay, druid's hut. We come to a point where we're kind of lacking the workers. But yeah, these 2 lizards are doing the good thing of making purging fires, because purging fires will be needed for this event. That we will, as I can see, already be missing the first trigger for. But we kind of took it easy in the sense that this effective parasite is nothing to be worried about because we don't have any cysts anyway. So it's basically the least harmful event we've witnessed so far, I believe. Even the road network disappearing and stuff was worse than this one. Okay, so we have 2 perching fires. And since this event will trigger once regardless of what we do right now, even with the seam arrow, probably not gonna cut it. Then we will first finish the order for call to arms, as this will give us more villagers that can already work on the Glade event itself. Okay, a new year, a new cornerstone selection. So we can choose between cannibalism, gaining 40 meat every time a villager dies or leaves. Again, we do not want to play this way, and we hopefully can save everyone from having to struggle in the forest so much that they decide to leave. Then the fiber delivery line. Considerable. 3 plant fiber per minute. And the last choice is the From the Ashes, which means that we would gain 2 wildfire essence for every 2 completed dangerous or forbidden glade events. And totem spawned by the Fishman Cave and cloned blood flowers do not count. Now, if we take a look at the orders again, there is 2 wildfire essence on the table, and I'm hoping for more from the upcoming orders. But even if we don't get it, I don't think it will be critical. But again, this plant fiber, it's just free resources on the fly, right? What can we use it for? Like, I want to check the makeshift post for some recipes. Plant fiber cannot be used for the packs of provisions. Not for the crops. So nothing for the makeshift post. They can be used for creating this, I believe. Actually, yeah, let's check this recipe as well. So it cannot be used for the tea. But it can be used in the crude workstation, right? So plant fiber can be used instead of the reed, for example. I guess, like, even given like what other options we have, the From the Ashes could give us some wildfire essence, but plant fiber is a constant like input to our settlement. So we'll be going for the fiber delivery line. Everything is getting delivered, so the crops and the fiber now. Okay, lizards seem to be happy enough to start gathering some resolve points even. And new villagers are almost here, so let's unpause and let them join us. So what's up with the small warehouse? It needs bricks, doesn't it? Hopefully the reed fields will provide us enough resources for 2 more bricks. So if we take a look at here, we only have 1 clay at the moment. Okay, newcomers. So we get to choose between 4 villagers and 3 villagers. Again, the interesting part is that the 3 villagers will come with extra parts, but maybe we'll have enough regardless. So we'll grab the option for more food, because we need all the workforce we can grab. Okay, now what do we need to do is we need to assign a few workers over to this Glade event. So let's use these 2 lizards to cleanse the withered tree. Then ideally we would have somebody... Oh, harpies really like the druid's hut. So please work over here. And we have the herb garden going on. Oh, we got our first... Well, our first beaver. Lovely. So this will be our like 3rd type of settler. Now with the beaver we can... No, we still want to keep the lizard as the hearth keeper. But beavers do like wood cutting, so we'll put this beaver to cut the wood over here. And we'll have 4 builders for the time being. They could use some housing though. Since we don't have our new hearth yet, we'll build some houses to the first one. With an extra buffer for upcoming visitors, because... Yeah. our initial plan of finishing Call to Arms got overridden by the new villagers that just came, because we have enough working hands to also restore the Purging Fires relatively quickly. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about this small warehouse, because we really need to clean for this upcoming storm this area of the map. Would ideally also get rid of this medium abandoned cache with not with the tools probably, but with sea marrow instead. Yeah, let's actually give one harpy the assignment to deal with this medium abandoned cache. So right now we're kind of after our real estate to make the hearth placement, how to say, perfect. Let's just hope we don't invest too much into this, because the forest mysteries, or well, the things that get triggered during the storm, the blights, right? They can be relatively nasty. Like one of them I remember took away like 6 nodes from the map, and since we don't have many nodes, not fond of losing these 2 mushroom nodes, for example, here. But the thing with the seal itself is that it probably is within this dangerous glade, right? Because the only sign we have is pointing towards that. So we'll also be able to see what kind of curse or blight or whatever it is waiting for us with each storm, already ahead of time in the clearance and drizzle seasons. Well, at least these woodcutters are cutting in the right places now. So if we take a look at exactly what needs to be cut, probably these 2 trees are the main priority. Now, are we lacking wood? Yes, we are lacking wood actually. So I'm sorry, we cannot assign any more workers to cut trees at the moment. And yeah, the problem is that this specific woodcutter camp is so far away from the main warehouse. It takes a lot of time for the wood to actually get to the right place. But maybe what it means is that one of the lizards will go back towards the woodcutting camp that they just came from. Yeah, the Purging Fires will take a little bit longer to be made. So you know what, you lizard will also go back to woodcutting. We cannot bottleneck the wood to stop our settlement from growing bigger. Okay, so clearance season is about to start. Almost ready to lay down the next hearth. One of the stopping factors is also this medium abandoned cache that is almost opened up. Since the other builder has nothing to do yet, I'll put the other RP also to deal with this Glade event. Or well, sorry, not Glade event, medium abandoned cache here. We'll pause for a second and take a look at our next orders. So if we open up 6 Glades and also give away 10 tools, we get the access to extra jerky production, some amber, and a bunch of crystallized dew. Or if we complete at least 2 events by making a decision of empathy, which seems to be, well, both of them are not that likely to happen. But the Glade events is, well, yeah, this left side is actually more likely to happen. So we'll go for that, even though we have to sacrifice or deliver 10 tools as well. Just history has shown that those empathy events do not come by that easily. Now, we do not have a possibility to make luxury goods yet. And we also probably don't have the ability to provide the need for luxury at the moment. So this choice is like between 2 assignments that likely will not be completed, neither one of them. But the traders can at least maybe sell luxury stuff to us, so we can, instead of sacrificing like 1 blueprint choice for this luxury goods production, we probably will go for the luxury objective instead. But with a high likeliness that we will not be completing this one within this settlement. Okay, so please make some room. So it looks like the last tree that needs to be taken down is currently in the process of being taken down. Do we have a chance of getting our final brick? So in the warehouse here, we're missing 2 clay. If you look at over here, we have 1 of the clays. And I don't think there was anything in the warehouse. So 1 more clay needed, and this reed field is... We'll still have a nice chance of getting 1 extra clay. To be fair, I was not expecting us to struggle with clay or stone in this map. But seems like this is going to be our surprise. Until we open up this dangerous glade. Hopefully that solves our clay problems. Yeah, I can see somebody working still on this tree. So there's 3 charges left. What's the situation with the wood? It's still bad. But it's probably getting better because these 2 lizards are doing their thing. Also, this event is being now resolved slowly, giving us another reputation point and 20 amber.